Alright, welcome back everyone. In this video, I have a very special thing going on with our dear friend SIMSCal. This the guys who makes acoustic guitar. We had a chance to go to the Fender factory, and first of all I wanted to thank David Brown, who is actually giving us a very great tour, and he's one actually of the master builder that still builds amazing guitar with Fender right now. So in this video we're gonna go do some highlights on the tour, and I really hope that you will enjoy it.
Why don't you guys, yeah, there you go. I want to welcome everybody to the Fender Corona factory. We're going to be taking a tour through the factory here in just a minute. My name is David Brown. I'm one of the master builders here in the custom shop. I've been with the company for roughly 25 years. I've been building guitars for 45 years. I've been playing a little bit longer than that. Like you all, I'm sure you all play guitar, right? I mean, otherwise, unless you really like to just torture yourself with building acoustic guitars, that's even another level up, right, than what we're building here. I only build electric guitars. I never got into acoustic guitars, although I have a couple of them. But I worked at Yamaha for 14 years prior to working here. So I've been in the music industry pretty much all my life since junior high. Any questions that you have, we're going to be answering them as soon as we exit, whatever, especially the mill. The mill's going to be really, really loud in there. That's why we have the headphones, and that'll kind of save us. So save your questions if you can remember them for after when we leave the mill. But we're going to go into the metal shop area first. And questions, by all means, just ask them. I'm here to answer your questions. Metal shop is one of the places where not a lot of companies today make their own parts like we do at the level that we're doing here. We've always made parts. Can you guys recognize what this part is?
Jack.
Yeah, okay, well,
Yeah,
you guys,
plate.
right? That's for the Strat jack plate. This is a sample of the process that we do here. So we buy this material in its raw form, and it comes in big giant rolls. There's probably some around here right now, but it just depends. But the process is multi-steps, and you can see all the steps here that take place in making the Stratocaster jack plate. One of the things that's kind of interesting about this part in particular, this part has been made with the same die set since 1954. So it doesn't matter if your Strat was from the 60s, 50s, obviously, 70s, 80s, 90s, even now, the part is still being made with the same die. The chrome plating process is probably different now than it was before, because as you know, in California, the laws for chrome plating are changing drastically to the point where not a lot of companies are doing chrome plating at all here in California. So we have a company, it's called Calchrome. They've been doing our chrome plating for a long time. We've actually considered buying them at some point in time, but that's never happened. Unlike California Screw or Cal Screw, we bought the company. They're in Anaheim, and they're one of our satellite locations now because we have so many of their screws and stuff. I don't know why. Maybe the owners decided, hey, we're getting out of the business. You want to buy us, and they did. So we own Cal Screw now. Anybody know what this is? Not a sword.
Is that for the tally? No. Sure, amp, right?
Yeah, it's an amp tilt back leg, right?
Oh,
yeah, we make those here too. So, and again, a lot of these parts, you would think that, by now, this is what it looks like when it's finished. Right.
What's that base metal?
This?
Yeah.
This is brass.
It is brass.
Yeah.
Are they all brass?
Yeah, they're all brass with their chrome-plated brass.
Brass or the hardware?
It depends, and we'll talk about that as we go through here. We use aluminum, we use metal, we use brass, we use some copper, plastic, obviously. We do a lot of these pickguards for a Strat. This one's kind of interesting. As you can see, it doesn't have a pickup configuration. So we have a die, and it's probably set up somewhere around here. The dies that we use on these punch presses are going to be all around you. All these different colors, different sizes. That one says Strat. So you guys come on this way. Let's gather over here. Amazingly enough, these have been with the factory or with the company since the 60s, and some of these are from the 50s. So we've had them since then, and we've been using them. Our maintenance team for the metal shop is like top rated. These machines are kept in pristine running condition, so they've been used for that long. And all they do is go up and down. What you put in between them, right, are going to be the dies, and they're going to determine what part you're going to be making. Right now, this material here, this is the material that we use for the bobbins, right, for the pickups on a Strat. You're all intimately familiar, right, with single coil pickups, the bobbins, how they're made. So this is the fiberboard material that we've been using since the 50s. This press right now is making the Stratocaster, looks like. Well, this is the remnants. Yeah, it's making Strat pickup bobbins, the top part. And those two will be put together with pole pieces in there, and then we'll wind some wire around them and make a coil, and then it becomes a pickup. So the dies behind you, all the ones in gray are original. So when you're, again, when we're talking about a Strat output jack, Telecaster bridge plate, Telecaster control plate, all of those parts have always been made with the same dies that we've been using since the 50s and 60s. Again, if you maintain these things sharp and you use the right material, right, because these are designed for specific types of material. So in other words, if for the pickguard die here, you're not going to use any material harder than aluminum. So we can cut aluminum pickguards with the same die that we use for cutting plastic pickguards. So now going back to those pickguards right there, these have not been determined as far as what pickup configuration we're going to use. So we have another die that is modular. So depending on, like, hey, we're going to be doing a batch of these. This is the what do they call this, bone? I forget what color they call this, but we're going to be doing humbucker singles. So they'll set up the die with the humbucker single cut out, and there'll be some pins that locate this pickguard on there, and we pop out the pickup cavity. This one, the same thing, and these are aluminum. This is our anodized. Well, they haven't been anodized yet. They go to a company that does that for us. They line grain them and then anodize them in whatever color we need.
What are those on the back?
I'm sorry?
What are those on the back? Files on the back?
This stuff?
Yeah.
This is the remnants. This is what's left over from this process here. Those are the pickup bobbins.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's Abigail handling?
Abigail's retired. She's at home now doing well, she's still alive, but she's retired from Fender. She doesn't work. Yeah, she's still around. She actually, she's got a pretty good little thing going. She does she'll do like a limited runs of pickups. She's got a winding machine at home, and Fender will contract her, go like, hey, let's do 600 pickups for us, and she charges a pile of money, and then we charge a pile of money, and everybody wants the Abigail Wines pickups. You're right. One thing with Abigail is, like, if you ask her like super deep technical questions about pickups and magnet metal makeup and like Alnico and stuff like that, she doesn't know any of that stuff. Her magic is the hand, is the way she winds, right? When we're talking about winding a pickup bobbin, this is called a scatter wind, because we're not perfect. If you look at I don't know, maybe some of your significant others sew at home, and they have little they load up the bobbins with the thread. It's the same thing. The bobbins are threaded very consistently, going back and forth with a machine. So pickups are wound the same way. A scatter wound pickup, because it's a person doing it, they don't do it consistently. So it's just the way that you wiggle the wire there. And we have now Abigail trained Josefina, and Josefina is our pickup winder now. So all our guitars are wound by her, our pickups. And then we have a couple more ladies upstairs that are doing some of the regular custom shop hand wound pickups over there. And maybe one of those girls will, rise to the top, and then she'll become the master winder over here. A lot of these dies are original. You can see a lot of the dates on here are going back quite far. Some of the Stratocaster pickguard die has been modified and refurbished several times over the years, because, as you can imagine, we use it a lot. We make all the pickguards here for the Mexico plant. We have another factory in Mexico that's twice as big as this. Their output is over 800 guitars a day. Our output here is over 400 a day. Not counting custom shop, not counting Jackson, Charvel, EVH, or Gretsch. We don't. Just Fender, yeah. Just PL10, what we call product line 10.
Did Leo use? He never used any decent Fullerton, did he?
Some of those were from going back to the Fullerton factory. Yes, yeah. They're over there. All the gray stuff that you see over there is going to be the older dies that we use. Let's see what we're making here right now. Oh, so we don't do our own injection molding, right? So this is a noiseless jazz bass pickup cover that doesn't have the holes on it yet. So we do the holes here. We just punch them in this. So we create a die. She puts it on there, and then this is the output. It's just making holes for the pole pieces to come through. Very nice, very fancy. Yeah. All right. Let's go around this way. Bridge cover for the Strat. We still make that here. And again, this is going to be the original die. How many people here have Telecasters? Vintage style Tele, right? With the vintage bridge plate. Well, that bridge plate that you have on your Tele has been made with the same die since 1951. And the die is somewhere around here. As a matter of fact, you can tell that when you look. I wish I had one here, but I don't see one anywhere. On the walls of the bridge plate, there's a bunch of striation lines. When you go home tonight, you look at your Strat or your Tele bridge plate, and on the sides you're going to see these little lines. Well, that's like, you know how with a bullet, when you fire it through a gun, it's got a specific line grain that the rifling creates. So it's like a fingerprint. It's the same thing with that die. So if you look at your Tele and you're compared with your buddy's Tele and your Tele, and you all have the same bridge plate, you're going to find that there's the lines are created there, and those are imperfections in the die. And one time we were having them refurbished, and the die maker told us, he goes, "Hey, you want me to clean up the edges there so you don't have all those lines there?" And they almost said yes, but we said, I go, no, leave that alone. That's our signature, right? That's like taking our fingerprint off. And
what are these for?
These are clamps for the dies. So we really get in their way. The press has a table as with a bunch of holes in it. And when you put a die on there, it might not line up with any of the holes, so they put these on there, and they use these toggles to clamp them down. And so that's what these are. Kind of a cool setup. All right, any questions so far? All right, good. So again, a bunch of dies.
Serial numbers. How do you keep all the serial numbers in your?
I'm sorry?
Serial numbers.
Serial numbers.
Serial numbers, right over there.
Do you mean this number right here?
90, yeah.
That?
Are those serial numbers or part numbers?
That's just the die number. That's not a part number. Those are tools. They're not products. Like, this has a part number. That does not have a part number for us. That's a tool or die number that they go, hey, number 14290 needs to be refurbished. So they come over here and grab it and sharpen it up. But if you're talking about serial numbers on the neck plates, now that's a different story. We have maybe we'll see it when we go around here. Let's go this way before everybody gets back. And all right, so here's a process that's kind of interesting. I don't know if you're familiar with our deluxe bridges. They're called Ultras now. The Ultra 2, well, back in my day it was called the Deluxe. So the Deluxe bridges had these stainless steel saddles instead of the bent steel. If you're familiar with an old Strat, it's got a bent steel saddle. These are stainless steel cast saddles. We get them, and they are in a very raw form. Let's see, here's one. This is how we get them from our vendor. Again, we don't do any casting here. So we get them like this, and then we start sanding them on the sides and the top, because we're gonna get these to a mirror finish, and that's what they do here. So the guy loads up this thing here with 2 dozen, and then he starts the buffing process. You can see all of these are being sanded here. He's got them, I don't even want to touch them because he's got his count. Maybe this means that this one needs to still be worked on. I don't know, this is the holder. And he sits there with one at a time, gets them all polished. So they look like they're chrome plated, but they're not, they're polished. And we still do that process here. Again, we could very easily have them chrome plated, but again, chrome plating on a saddle like this, where you're gonna have the string going through the groove, it's gonna eventually cut through the chrome plating, and it's gonna peel off, and it's gonna look like crap. And then you're gonna call service, and then service will go, hey man, I spent $3,000 on my guitar and I look like crap. So, well, good for you that you played the guitar, right? Instead of it just looking at it on the wall. But to prevent that, and this is all just, the bottom line is just to make sure that the thing sounds better generally, right? Because when you put chrome plating over any material, you're putting a layer that's kind of acting like a buffer with strings, you know, using bone for a saddle, for example, switching over to plastic, it's a different sound. Maybe
not.
No, the saddle. I'm talking acoustic guitars. I'm trying to go down to your guys' level. Just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not going down right. I'm trying to put something that you guys, because you guys are all mostly acoustic guitars, right? You guys bending sides and torturing yourself with bracing and stuff. Oh God! How many acoustic guitars have you made?
We made one. 150.
150? Well, that's pretty good. 6.
10.
10. 50.
20.
20. 4. 2.
0.
All right. He's young. 4.
60.
60.
Well, 2 that never been finished.
Well, good. That's good. Those are the best ones.
8.
8.
0.
0.
15.
15. So those of you that made over 50, you sell them? People buy them and stuff. They come at you and they go like, "Hey, I want to get me a Johnson acoustic guitar and stuff." That's great. It's not that easy, right? It's not that easy. It's hard. Let's go this way. Let's start. Let's continue with our talk about this stuff here. All right. Let's see. This is a level 3 quiz. Anybody tell me what this is? Let's see if you know. If you know your Fender stuff.
Oh, this is tough.
Yeah. Level 3.
Oh, hold on. Bridge plate.
Well, it's a bridge. It's part of a bridge.
Is that part of the Jackmaster? No.
Yeah, it is. It's
it?
part of the Jazzmaster. It's the part that pivots underneath the plate.
Right.
But we still make that here. Yeah, pretty awesome. Truss rods. We make our own truss rods. We put them together. We don't have a threading machine, but we still weld and solder our bridge blocks.
Yeah.
This is going to be this is going to be for the Ultra, right? This is this is stainless steel. Again, we don't cast it here. We buy it in these giant long strips, and then we cut it down and start working on them. We drill all the holes and everything, and then we send them off to get painted. They don't get chrome plated at all.
When you have a defect in one of your casting, what's your process? You going back to the previous?
No, throw it, scrap it out. What, you mean like try to fix it?
No, I mean like, yeah, maybe. I mean.
No, it costs more money to try to fix this.
Yeah, because of your labor.
Paperwork wise, in the system, this has a part number now, and it has an unfinished part number. Once it gets painted, it gets a different part number, or a different level rather.
Yeah.
But to try to fix something like this, no, it's just easier to scrap it out. We make a lot of them anyway, so we're not going to focus on one. It's going to be pretty daunting for that. We have a ton of Haas machines. We have about 30 of them here. All right, let's get out of here. We're gonna go to the mill next, the body and neck mill.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, so the body and neck mill is our biggest room in this factory, and that's obviously where the bodies and necks are going to be made or cut out. Everybody can still hear me, right? All right, good. All the way to the back. Killer. Hopefully we won't run into the other group, but if we do, we'll just say hi, and I don't want any jumpers, all right? If you see the other group, smaller and you're going, oh, they're gonna get around here a lot easier. Maybe I'll just jump groups. No way. It'll shock you. The little headset will shock you. All right, so this room here has changed a lot. I used to run and manage the visitor center next door when we had it. And that was a place where people could come in and buy a product from us and then take a factory tour. We had that twice a day. And back then we had an actual tour path. That's what these yellow lines or the remnants of them are. But they don't have tours anymore. And this place has gotten considerably more crowded and compact in here as far as processes. So the way this room is laid out is the perimeter of this room is the PL10. Again, I'm going to keep referring to that. Product line 10 is the production stuff. The island in the middle then is all custom shop. So that's where all the custom shop stuff is made. It's put through a different process, different machines. Our necks arrive like this in neck blanks, right? This is these are going to be guitars. These are going to be basses. Bodies arrive like this in the form of body spreads. And this is alder. This is a 3-piece spread. We glue these over there. There's a machine that helps us glue these, and it's a clamping machine. This is a 3-piece spread. We use up to a 3-piece spread here in Corona. Mexico will use up to a 5-piece spread. One of the things that we do look at and consider is the glue line. So imagine sound traveling through the grain, and every time it hits a glue line, it's kind of like a speed bump. So the theory is that the more glue lines you have, the more the sound gets impeded by it. So, you know, obviously with an acoustic guitar, you're not going to have a 1-piece top. You're going to have a 2-piece because you want that nice book match look. And besides, a 1-piece top would probably be pretty weak. It would probably fail eventually a lot sooner than a 2-piece top. Well, the same thing with this. You wouldn't want a 1-piece body because the grain being only one going in one direction is going to tend to potato chip or warp. All right, this is a 3-piece spread, yeah. So my favorite is the 2-piece spread. We very rarely do a 1-piece spread, but we do them here. Yeah, let's make sure that everybody, when you see somebody trying to walk through, make sure you let them go through because, again, they're on the clock and they got a place to go to. We are getting in their way. Anyways, this is alder. We use also ash. Ash is going to be a more, oh, there's perfect. We have some over here. This is a more, I think it's a more beautiful wood. Alder's considered a weed wood. That means that the trees grow everywhere and they grow to full maturity within 10 years. Ash is going to be a little bit longer. It's still considered a replenishable resource, but this is a 3-piece spread again, and we try to match the grain as best as we can. That's a pretty good match, which tells me this is probably going to be for a custom shop body spread, and this is going to be a Telecaster. It's the size. It doesn't have the extra little part here that you get when you're doing a Stratocaster spread. Oh, here's one. That's going to be a Strat for the extra. And this is roasted. This is roasted ash. It's torrified. Torrification is the process where, no, we don't do it here. We have it done for us. The process is intended to dry out the cells of the wood. Some people say like, oh, it emulates aging of the wood, like tempering it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of it, especially the darker stuff. We only use medium roast here. And it's kind of funny to say because it does smell. This one doesn't smell too good, but you do smell the roasty goodness sometimes on some of these. And a lot of people like it. It also makes the wood lighter. So, I don't know. It does. It does make the wood a little bit lighter because you're basically, it's like a sponge and you're just squeezing all the water or moisture out of it. It does make it more brittle. So, especially for maple, You don't want to get, we don't use anything beyond a medium roast on maple because the darker, the more you roast it, the more brittle it's gonna get, and that's not a good thing. Hard rock maple, yeah. Comes up from the Pacific Northwest and Northeast, right? All of that green belt that you see when you look at a map, you see that green belt of Canada and up there, that's where all that maple comes from. And it's really good. I mean, we have quarter sawn, flat sawn, rib sawn. It just depends on whatever you're going to be ordering. You don't get that choice in the production stuff, but sometimes you do come across a little bit of flame. You can feel it. You can feel the flame here on this one. It's a little rougher than something like this. But this is your typical palette of maple that we get here. And you'll see some of them that have more flame than others. And that's just a matter of getting lucky. You know, you get lucky with this stuff. And we all like flame. We like the way it looks. We like the way it feels. We use Type-On.
Which one?
Wood glue.
1, 2, or 3?
I don't know. We buy it in 5-gallon buckets. We might see it over there. All right, let's take a quick peek this way. Again, this is not very conducive for tours, but we'll look this way anyways. Our next process here, this gentleman here is gluing fingerboards. So this is quite a bit after the process. This is going to be a base neck, obviously because it's long, but you see the two carbon fiber reinforcement rods that we have in there. We do that to help out. This is probably going to be a 5-string. No, it's not 4-string. So we're putting the carbon fiber reinforcement rods in there to help out the truss rod because, you know, that's there's a lot of stress on a single truss rod for a bass like this. Even though the tension is a lot less than an acoustic. Acoustic guitar tension on the top is what, about 130 pounds? Something like that, you know, a little bit higher, especially if you're using 12s. So the bass, even though the tension is lower, it's a lot more intense on the bass because it's longer, right? The longer the piece of wood, the more it's going to tend to bow and flex. But
What are the tools on the back?
what are the what?
The tools on the back. Like the number is there. Are they tools or what?
No, that's just the number of the press. It's a clamping system using air. So it's a fire hose that we cut up into sections, and then we clamp it on both sides and we pump air into it, and that becomes our clamping system to glue the fingerboards. So that's what he's doing here. He's gluing fingerboards on them. And you see the air gets relieved, and then he pulls it out. And you don't want your fingers stuck in there. All right, let's go this way. We're kind of doing this a little bit backwards because we usually talk about bodies first and then necks later. We're still doing those. There's those wonderful Acoustasonics that everybody loves. Jackson is being cut here. Again, those are other brands that we use, that we make here actually. But let's continue this way. All right, so that machine that you're gonna see here when you turn the corner, the name brand is Anderson or Andy. And let's continue this way. Follow me, let's go. We're gonna go right here. Because we can talk about this whole process in one area here. That way we'll get out of their way and we won't be, as you can see, the tour route is very encroaching on everything now. Come on this way. These are CNC machines, but they're multi-head, right? A Haas is only going to have one head. It works. Going to do one process. So the question is, do we use a multi-head? That one has 4. These? This one right now has 2. This is the vintage one, so this is a compression, single action thrust. While the machine is working on that table there, the operator is loading or unloading this table here, and then once it's done with that process, it'll switch tables and it'll start. So they're jumping back and forth, and we're making necks, obviously. The necks are now made with the CNC because they're going to be more accurate. We don't use templates anymore. We haven't for, God, probably 40 years now. Templates are great if you're doing 1 or 2, but the more you use a template, the more it wears out, and then your tolerances start deviating away, and that's when bodies and necks aren't fitting from one year to the next.
For the neck, that's one maple?
This is maple, this is rosewood, yes.
Yeah.
So we have we have the process down to where, if you look at all the samples back there, we used to use those samples as reference to see all the numbers written on them and whatnot. We don't use those over here. You actually get it all back there, and the screen has a drawing that this machine is actually using to run. So we can get any dimension that we need, any specification from the screen, rather than using those samples for.
Is that Brazilian?
No, this is regular Indian rosewood.
Indian rosewood.
Only Custom Shop uses Brazilian, and the Brazilian that we have is. It is. We have a big stash of it though, but we can only sell it in the USA. So whenever I make a guitar with a Brazilian fingerboard, I got to put USA only on the back.
Oh.
And but that means that it can only be sold in the US. Once it's sold to a dealer, our process is, our carrying of it is done. We hand over the instrument with the proper identification on it, and you know, if you're going to be a dealer that's going to sell overseas, that's on you. We're not. Our care of it is done.
What? Do you use only single action truss rods?
No, we use double action truss rods.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, but that's a good question. Because you all know what double action truss rods are. It's single action truss rods. All of your acoustic guitars, for the most part, I'm assuming you're using single action truss rods or compression truss rods. I don't know. No, you use double action? You use the two bar ones? Yeah. They're pretty good. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? I mean, it's you're not building something vintage. So
work instructions usually happens on the each of the cells. Work instruction. Your work instruction for the CNC.
Yeah.
They have to have like each of okay.
Yeah, they're all on the screen. All right, so yeah, truss rods. So we're not going to use the compression truss rods because. Well, for myself, I'm building replicas. I want it to work well into after I die.
So quick question, how does your travelers go? Do you go from here first or go from the metal shelf first? Or are they different?
A traveler?
Yeah.
Production doesn't use travelers, only in Custom Shop. But
okay.
Yeah, the documents are all specific to one area. All right, let's continue this way. Here's the double action truss rod. And this is not a two-rod system. This one here works rather ingeniously. So here's the anchor, and here's the adjustment hole. The adjustment hole is behind this walnut plug. It works when you tighten it. Since the channel is curved, it wants to straighten, so it gives you a convex shape, right? When you loosen the truss rod, it starts pushing against this plug. And behind the 7th fret, underneath it, is a little anchor that attaches the neck to the truss rod. So when you're pushing it, it wants to go this way, so it gives you the concave. Super simple, it works great. I've never had one fail yet. I mean, unless you drop it and break it, yeah, but those are locating points for the machines to use.
Oh.
So that's our dual action truss rod. The ones that you're probably using have 2 bars, like the ones I use, and you have the bar underneath that they have counter threaded anchors on both ends, and they work great. What's cool about those is that if it fails, mine, I just slide it out and put a new one in. I built my guitars that way by mistake, actually, because when I was building, like I said, I do a curved channel, I do a straight one, and I put the truss rod in there and I glued it all, and I'm adjusting it, and I try to take out the adjusting wrench and the truss rod comes out, and I go, okay, that's convenient. So I looked at it and I go like, well, it doesn't really need to be glued in there. So as long as it's not knocking, but right, because you want a little tension on your rod. To just barely be tight, or just, you want it to have tension. It's like a bow, right? So if you take a bow, for example, and you take the string off and you hit the bow, the piece of wood's not going to ring that much. But when you tighten it up and you get that bow and you hit that under tension, you're going to hear more ringing. So that's the theory behind having tension on the truss rod on a neck. There's some roasted maple. All right, let's get out of here. We're kind of getting in their way a little bit there with those machines. Side dots are all being drilled here. That's a multi-drill head that was designed by some engineer here many, many years ago before Fender was sold to CBS, and we still use the process because, again, it's pretty efficient. You're still using a drill bit to drill holes. You're just doing many of them at the same time. All right, we're going to talk about bodies very briefly here. So here's our one of our body making machines. Again, it's multi-head. It has 4 heads, so it can work on, it has 2 heads, so it can work on 2 bodies at a time, but it's got 2 tables. So while this table is being worked on, the operator can come over and flip it around and get the other parts ready. Everything is held down with suction. We don't use clamps. And obviously the advantage of that is that the tool can go 360 degrees around the body without having to be stopped, or so you can jump over a clamp or anything like that. The suction works fantastic. I mean, there's just no way I can lift this up. Now, if I release it, I can lift it up, but I don't want to. It's being set right now for doing the contour on the back. All right. The bodies are much simpler to make than necks are here in the mill. So just to give you an idea, the bodies take about 6 steps. Necks are going to be over 31 steps to make here in the mill. All right, so this is mill cutting. Now we're going to go to mill sanding over here, next door. That way we can get out of everybody's way. So you see various operations here with sanding. That's called a deadhead sander. That's very nice. I mean, can you imagine having enough room in your garage for that machine and only use it like once or twice a year? My wife gets me, so all my tools are compact and they have to be foldable and rollable. So I roll away so I can park the cars in the garage. So anytime I'm working on a guitar, we use some of them.
Hold up.
They don't. They don't hold up. They don't hold up. We have to go to industrial. And if you see the Grizzly tool, it's only being used for a very small little process. We haven't had good luck with Grizzly tools. Nobody here is sponsored by Grizzly, are you? No? I guess getting a tool sponsorship would be pretty hard, huh? Yeah, that's the Ingrid Malmsteen, the scallop fingerboard. All right, so this is one of our tools that we use here that allows us to get those really nice radiuses on the bodies, and it's called a bladder sander. It's like a tire or like a football. There's a valve on the side. It allows us to put air into it to make it stiffer, or let air out to make it softer. It's that stiffness or softness that allows us to get those nice radiuses, especially for the Stratocaster. You know, you get those nice feeling, and it's got to feel just right. It's not just about the look, but it's also about the feel. I'll leave that on. They like them on. That still needs a lot of work. And you know, it's like, that takes a while to master, to get down with this stuff here. So I would imagine the learning curve is probably about 3 months. And hopefully they don't ruin a lot of bodies doing that, you know. Because you can't give them a practice body, because if it's already ruined, you can't. All right, come on this way on something like that. So I think a lot of the folks here are getting flashbacks of my tours. That's why they're coming over. I mean, we lost a lot of people that have retired or have gone somewhere else, or maybe they're not satisfied with the pay. Yeah, we've lost a lot of the old. I don't know, but I think it's pretty competitive. I think they start them off at least at $17, $18 an hour, maybe. I'm not really sure. You said neck recess, and I go your neck pocket. But yeah, that's so you can do a neck tilt. And yeah, so you'll see it. It's hidden behind here, but this is this hole here.
Do they all have them now?
No, it depends on the model, but most American, what they call the American Pro, American Pro 2, Ultras, all the modern ones do have a neck tilt. But, you know, I mean, the neck tilt thing is kind of there's something wrong with the guitar if you need a lot of neck tilt, right? We don't use shims in the custom shop. We don't use neck tilt. Unless we're building a 3-bolt neck, a 3-bolt Strat, then we obviously use it. Come on this way. Let's get into a little area where we can be a little more comfortable and we can answer some of those questions. We'll just gather on right here in the hallway.
What are these bodies for?
These are body. These are all custom shop. They're ready for clear coat and paint and color. So the neck tilt, when you're talking about the neck tilt and having a guitar that needs it a lot, there's what we do in custom shop is we sand the neck pocket. We put a little bit of an angle on the neck pocket. I'd rather have more wood to wood direct contact, you know. Kind of like what Taylor does, you know. The Taylor, when they first came out, their big thing, come on through. Their big thing was like, hey, you know, we can fix any neck variants by the shims that they use, right? Because theirs is a bolt-on neck. You take the cap off and there's a screw there. You can take it off, and then the repair guy has a series of shims there, and that's how he does his neck body pitch. But I don't know, I bet you some of you guys would probably say like, oh, I don't know, does that, you know, kind of ruin the resonance and the sustain of the guitar not being glued together like an old Martin or, you know, most acoustic guitars? So there's something to be said about that. I don't know that much about what Taylor does now, but I'm assuming they're still doing the same thing with the way they assemble bodies and necks. Well, the same thing goes for Fender too. I mean, any kind of bolt-on body that you have can have those problems too, you know. So if you're having to put the neck tilt so much that you can actually put a pick underneath the neck pocket, you know, between the body and neck, there's problems there. That's, you know, you're going to lose a lot of sustain and a lot of resonance with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a question that we, well, on that particular one, that's your thing. Yeah. We do use lacquer. It depends on the model. I'll explain all that when we get the paint. No? Got it now? Got it now or something? Can you hear me now? Nothing? Nothing? Nothing, huh? Alright, we'll stay close. Alright, you guys are all good over there. Alright, come on this way. This is final assembly. We'll come back in here. We'll talk about all of this, and there's all kinds of stuff here that we can talk about. Microless truss rod, bullet type truss rod, vintage, right? It's going to be an English all-state one. No worries, sorry about that. Come on this way. All right. All right, let's gather right here. I think we can probably stay here without being in the way too much. And again, yeah, you want to come over this way. Everybody gather around right here. I think we'll be okay. Everybody, that's Scott Buell. Everybody, just give him a big hand, huh? Yeah, Scotty Buell. Taking some folks through here on another tour.
My guys must be afraid of you.
Yeah, they were.
This is Dave. He's one of the masters.
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Come on through. So that we can be as so we don't get so much in the way. So this is buff and polish. Paint department is deep inside that wall, behind that wall. Obviously, we're not going to go through there. But somebody was asking what kind of material we use. We use lacquer, polyester, urethane. That's about it. So it just depends on the model. So all of the custom shop stuff, all the vintage stuff, like 50s Strats, 50s Tellies, everything that is considered a vintage, all the way up to, I think we build up to a 75 Strat. Well, that one's going to be, an outlier because back then, right, by 75, the Fender was using polyester, so we're going to do the same thing with those. But you can order a 75 Strat in nitro if you want to. You know, we'll do it. But we use nitro through and through, depending on the model. So now the line also has the vintage reissues, like the 52 Telly, the 62 Strat, the Jazz Bass, the Jaguar, the Jazz Master, key bass, and all. And what? No, it's not a Gibson. That's a Jackson. Yeah. No, Gibson here? No, that's. I make them at home, but that's blasphemy, right? No, but everybody. Now we're all good here. That's a Jackson guitar. It's and that's actually
Randy Rhodes.
It's a Randy Rhodes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, nitro finish means, or what we call a thin skin finish here, is exactly how it was back in the 50s. It's lacquer undercoat, lacquer color coat, lacquer top coat. So it's lacquer, right? So it's three components. Your finish here are going to be made of 3 components. The undercoat is going to provide a nice flat surface for the color to stick to, like a primer.
Constraints on lacquers in California now. Is that lacquer?
No, we're grandfathered in because we have an afterburner. I'll explain that in a second. That's a good question. So, PL10 over here, the line has a reissue, a 62 reissue, and they're brand new looking, what they call a NOS finish, right? New old stock. We call it that because it looks brand new, as it did the day it was made. So, but in order to get it to look like that, we put a polyester undercoat. So it's not lacquer, lacquer, lacquer. It's polyester, lacquer, lacquer. Right? Or it could be urethane, lacquer, lacquer. I would rather have urethane, lacquer, lacquer, because urethane is a lot flatter and a lot thinner than polyester.
Doesn't the lacquer eat the polyurethane?
No, they're not really. They're not our stuff. We do that all the time. We combine materials all the time, depending on the model. So, this stuff right here, this is all urethane. So that's going to have a polyester undercoat, urethane color coat, and urethane top coat. That's going to give you a nice, thin, long-lasting finish. That's going to be, obviously you wouldn't want that for an acoustic guitar. Anybody of you guys do French polishing? Yeah, right? That's more torture on your part. You know, that's self-induced, right? Yeah. I know, that's right, exactly right. So again, depending on the model, will determine what type of material we use. So now going back, yeah, it's essentially a jet engine. It's you put the fuel in on this side, and it's just got blowers. It doesn't produce any thrust or anything. It's just fans that guide the hot air out. That's how we're able to. I think our limit here is 10 gallons a day. But 10 gallons sounds like a lot, but we go through it pretty quick. So it's all relegated to custom shop mostly. So all my stuff will be, like if you're a 63 Strat, it's going to be all nitro. There's no question, there's no argument about that. Unless you want it to be, let's say you want to replicate a Strat that you had in the 70s that when you bought it, somebody had sanded it and put shellac on it. That was very popular back then, right? They would take the color off and sand it and put shellac on it or whatever was available at the hardware store. If you want to do something like that, like I've done that. I built a guitar for the guitar player in the Black Crowes, Rich Robinson, and he had a '67 Strat, a Tele, that when he bought it, somebody had sanded the finish down to the wood and just put clear coat over it. So he wanted me to replicate that. And I go, all right, I can do that with urethane, or I can do it with nitro. So he chose nitro. I go, all right, so I did that. All I did was just get a sanded body, and I put medium tint clear on it over it, and it came out perfect. Did a little bit of light relic on it, and it was fantastic. So we were able to do that type of stuff. But so I hope that answers your question. Yeah, that's a good system that we have here. So, and we don't have any problems with OSHA or somebody coming in. Well, yeah, but I mean, it depends, right? I mean, how many are you doing? I mean, I use lacquer. I buy all my lacquer from Sumac or Guitar Rear Ranch when they were available.
Right. Exactly.
And I spray it in my backyard. I'm only doing 2 a year, so I don't think OSHA's going to come down on me, And I have buddies that do more guitar than that a year, and they still use that stuff in their backyard. And all you need is one neighbor to get pissed off, though, and they're going to come down on you. And go, hey,
All right.
you need to step up. You want to be a pro? Start working with the pros, But it just depends on what you're doing. So I don't think the city's going to come down on anybody that's using it in their backyard. Yeah.
So this is final assembly.
No, this is not final assembly. Final assembly's over there. This is buff and polish. So now, once the bodies are dried and cured, because we have a curing system in there too. That after they're painted, they're put in kind of like it's not exactly a UV.
Yeah.
We do have a UV oven, but we just let them dry naturally. We have a one unidirectional blowing system that blows the air in one direction, so you're not getting a lot of contamination.
Only like 10 minutes to put into that chamber, and then you get out, everything's dry, right?
It's 19 minutes.
Oh, 19.
Actually, yeah. But that's the UV. That's another thing that Taylor does is UV paint. the UV actuated paint, right? We use it here sometimes, but I don't know. In custom shop, we're pretty spoiled. I've got my 7-week curing time nitro. I have
7 weeks?
Yeah, at least. Sometimes
Wow.
even more. Right now I'm back a year and a half. So if you order a guitar from me, you'll get it in about a year and a half. So I got plenty of time. I'm not in a hurry. If I get the body and it's yours and I'm going to deliver it next month and it's not right, I just call you up and go like, look, I'm not feeling good about this one. I got another one probably somewhere, especially if it's a standard color, like 3-tone summers. We do those a lot. Black, whatever color you need. So it's not so much of an issue for us in the custom shop as far as time. We have all of it for the most part. I got some master builders there that are backed up 7 years. Can you imagine paying top dollar for a guitar and come back in 2031? We'll see you then, probably not playing guitar by then. I might be dead by then, So that's kind of silly.
Have you ever?
Any questions?
How long do they hang there?
They hang up there until we need them. That's our dry cycle. That means the bodies are already dry. We don't worry about dust. It's loaded and unloaded behind that wall over there. And yeah, there's not much to see there. But the rest of it is over here. So let's go to final assembly. Any questions about buffing and polishing? These little tags tell us there's 10 next year. So when this box expires, there's the next one there. And then by the time you get down to the bottom here, the next one's already filled. So it just keeps recycling, filling over and over. Because obviously you see a lot of bodies and necks being put together here. This process here is super critical, right? This is where the body and neck first meet. And the folks that do the neck body prepping, that's here, are the gatekeepers, right? Because if you mess up a neck body, it's got to look perfect. Get a body and neck. Let's see if we can get one over here. Let's pick a full color. Let's pick this one here. This is nice. Not the best example. Back in the day, we would kick that out, and I don't know if they kick that out anymore. You see that little gap here, but there's no gap here. Yeah, that would be kicked out, and apparently now, I would rather have that gap over here because that would be covered by the pickguard, right? So the pickguard would hide that, or maybe this just needs a little push. That's what that was the other thing that I would do. If I'm getting a gap here, I can open it up over here a little bit just to skosh it over this way a little bit. There's different things you could do for it to go on through here. 70th anniversary. 70th anniversary of the Strat. Let's take a look at another one. See if we can get a better look on the next one. I don't want to do any of the vintage stuff. Let's do this one. Look how flat it looks. I mean, there's no way you can get. All right, final assembly. So the pick guards are made in the other building. I don't know, some of you parked back over there. The building over there has a process for winding pickups. And let's make sure that we're not blocking the way here.
The metal shop.
No, not the metal shop. No, the 345 is the building that's across the parking lot on that side of the road.
Oh, that's where they make the pickguard.
The pickguard assemblies are put together there.
Oh, pickguard assembly.
And then they're sent over here, and you see them over here in these bins, right? So all these here, pickguard assembly. This is going to be for a 70th anniversary Strat American Pro. It's got gray bottom bobbin pickups. It's got, what are these little circuits now? I think that is...
Yeah, the SMDs.
That's the treble bleed saver now. It used to be, we have it encased in a little cylindrical thing that looks like a capacitor. This is the new circuit board that they do that does the same thing. I'm not going to fault a comparison between a full-size component versus this is called surface mount. That there's a capacitor there and 2 resistors right there. Those are the surface mount stuff that they've used now in computers and stuff. Sonically, it's going to sound the same. I don't think you're going to be able to tell the difference. You know, you're not going to sit there, especially if you're listening to a guitar going through an amp, this process, and like, oh, that sounds like a surface mount capacitor. All that. No, we're not that good. For the next body prep, that's at least 6 months. Not the guy that was right there working on those Sonics. That guy's probably one of the best guys there. Because remember, they have to do, since we're outputting over 400 guitars a day here, they have to do quite a bit in a short amount of time. So they got to get very accurate with their Dremel, then cleaning it up with the wood block. So that's very crucial. And it takes 6 months to get good at that. We had a person, there was a guy here that was running the front end assembly. We sat in the office and we hired that new person. And first day they put him there and they ruined 80 bodies. I mean, we were just, like this? And just, that wasn't even a straight line. The Dremel was just destroying it. Sorry, fully machine. I didn't want to say the gender. I just wanted to say they. I wanted to keep it cool, but yeah, she ruined 80 bodies. That was the last day of my relation. I don't think so, no. There's the rest of our dry cycle up there. What's up to 5,000 bodies? And it takes like 2 hours to go around one revolution. So obviously those are all inventoried, and so when they need something, it's like a dry cleaner. They're like, oh, let's get paid 35, and they press the button, and you'll see them moving around. The netting is there to protect the bodies from the people that have hard heads here. No, just gets the other way around. We don't want to get anybody injured. So I've never seen a body fall. I've seen paperwork fall. There's a piece of paper there. I bet you that paper is there since Obama was the president. There's a bunch of papers. So what we used to do when final assembly was here, and we have a new guy, get a rubber band, and we shoot the rubber band right above them, and all it does is like, welcome to Fender. That was pretty. We had a lot of fun in this factory over the years. So final assembly, all the tune testers, look over there. And the tune testers have moved around this area over the years. They've been there, they were there. When I started, they were down this line here. But they're back to this area. They're going to do the final checking and cutting of the nut, adjusting the intonation, doing all the stuff that's needed. This is a rack for the builders, right? So the builders are going to be, you get a line, it's 5 people, 2 builders and 3 tune testers. So the builders get the neck and body already prepped, the pickguard with all the bag with all the components. They're going to put it together, then they're going to send it all down to the tune tester. The tune tester is responsible for getting that guitar to be playable. Then it goes to the end of the line over here, and it gets boxed up and sent out to our distribution center. So we don't send guitars from here to our dealers. They go straight to the distribution center, and from there, those folks are tasked with putting stuff in boxes and shipping them out.
Do they get light here before they go?
Yeah, the tune testers do that.
They're the ones that are.
Yeah. So you get a guitar rack that's already been inspected, adjusted, set up, ready to be boxed up. And as you can imagine, we use a lot of cases. We have SKB,
GNG.
TKL, Gator. Sometimes we'll do a special run. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, they do.
Excuse me, German coffee.
Safety glasses. Yeah. Everybody, yeah, you're off. I think the prescription glasses, yeah, that's the thing. But they should provide us with over glasses. Those aren't safety. Those aren't over glasses. So
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of the factory floor then.
Alright, so I hope you guys enjoy the video. I know it's a long video, almost like 45 minutes plus. Thank you again to David and SIMSCal for the opportunity. This is really great. Fender is always like a big brand. So have the experience from start to the end, and then looking at the beautiful guitars over here. I think it's a really amazing experience. So again, I hope you guys enjoy the video and then you learn something from it. And then again, thank you guys for watching, and then see you until the next time.